on Coleman. Count on Coleman. If your world is looking strange, you can count on Coleman for change.
Hello, Baton Rouge, and yes, here we are in the Coleman's Media Center here in this great city of Baton Rouge in the greatest district there is, and that's District 10. Well, you all know that we podcast so that you'll get information, know what's going on, and then get your feedback as to how we move forward in this great city, in this great district, in order to get more good stuff going on and to be knowledgeable of what's going on. That is of utmost importance. And so this day I have a gentleman here that represents an organization that is one that when you talk about giving you information about what's going on and what they see and where we go and who we go with, that is none other than Mr. Adam Chapman. Adam is the president of Forum 225. Now you shouldn't forget numbers 225, not at all. So I am so grateful to have you here with me this morning, Mr. Adam, and just tell the listening audience about you so they'll know who's in the house.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I'm Adam Chapman. I'm the president of Forum 225. I'm also the director of venues and events over at BRCC. So that's the day job.
Wow.
I'm from New Iberia originally and went to LSU, moved back to Acadiana for a while, and then moved back here to Baton Rouge for love. I followed a lady back to Baton Rouge.
Wow, it happened every time, y'all.
That's right. And,
every time.
And our son is celebrating his second birthday today.
Wow.
So we're very excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you all know this is special. Adam's sitting here with little old me, and he has a 2-year-old having a birthday today, but it's still early, so you still got to celebrate that birthday. So let's get right on into this, and I'm grateful to know that you're from Lafayette, in that area, I should say, and you've done this and that, but you came back home. Well, you came back here to what's home now, and that's Baton Rouge. I say, talk to, I know that you are a strong proponent of economic empowerment. Folk talk about economic development, but you're with economic empowerment, which it all goes together. So tell the listening audience about what you represent and what you do and how you do it and who you do it with.
Well, I'm interested in economic development and smart growth. I've kind of learned a lot about that as a personal interest and a hobby, and it's something that I've tried to pay attention to out in the news and what's going on in the community, and something that I'm now trying to translate into what we do at Forum 225. Just a little bit, and I don't speak on behalf of the organization with some of my thoughts on that, but you know, as a young person in this town, I'm interested in it, and I hope that we can get other young people to pay attention to what's going on in the community.
Important. Young person, having other young persons pay attention. You know, that's part of our conversation here in Baton Rouge. A lot of the young people are saying that they are not being inclusive, but this is an opportunity here for them to become inclusive by learning what's going on and just sitting and listening and learning about the Forum 225. It was previously called, for those that have been around, Forum 35.
That's right.
And so the change now is Forum 225. Tell them why.
Well, a lot of people will be surprised to learn that Forum 35 did not indicate the age of our members. That's
Okay.
a common misconception, but there were 35 original folks who started the group way back in 1990. Or 1994, I think. So we've been around for 30 plus years in Baton Rouge, empowering young people with different activities and programming and things.
Talk about some of those things that you've
Sure.
done with those young people, empowering them, and what you all have been involved in doing.
Sure. Well, we've been around doing this for a long time, and I think the easiest way to say it is we're trying to get young people off the couch and out and about in their community in a lot of different ways. And so we have a leadership program that we do every year called the Barton Leadership Program.
Okay.
We do different monthly events, like you attended with us a few weeks ago. We have a Coffee With series, and we're meeting with a different civic leader every month for a small, comfortable, honest conversation about what's going on in the community. Pretty much every month we'll have some sort of a social networking event just for fun to get folks connected to each other and meeting other people, of their age who are in this town. And we do some leadership building sessions. We'll have like lunch and learn things. And we've been very connected with folks like yourself, elected officials and civic leaders and people who work in the government, community leaders, business leaders for a very long time. And so we are trying to expose young people to those people and try to see if we can get them inspired and maybe activated to do something out in the community.
Some important words, inspired and activated. And what I liked about my Coffee With interaction with the group was that, first of all, it's a diverse group. Mm-hmm. And so then the other thing is, don't come to the Coffee With sessions just to come and talk, but also to glean information with all of the others that are in there who have something to give, who have some ideas, and that's how we ought to move when we have those type of gatherings and conversations and all of that. So I truly enjoyed it. Matter of fact, overstayed my time, but I truly enjoyed it. And I know that we were at right there on Government at
Leola's.
Leola's. Yeah. Leola's at the coffee place there at Leola. Great coffee there. That's shout out to you, Leola. And so, but it was a great conversation that we had. And so you have expressed the objective of 225. I am always of the opinion that you must, you ought to know where you're going. The why. Why are we gathering? Are we just gathering to gather, or are we gathering with a focus in mind, and then hopefully and knowingly that we're going to come with some strategies? And you all definitely, you had one gentleman there that was writing as we're going on, but developing strategies that you all can even share with us, because you all are a part of the community. And even in that organization were some constituents of District 10. And so that's what I'm always looking and listening for their input to see what is. And so you have, you all are doing well, and appreciative of that. And so the Coffee With, talk about who are some of the other upcoming Coffee With folk that you're going to have, so that they can be on the lookout for what you all are doing.
Sure. We've got the next 3 months booked. In January, we're having Dr. Bo Clark, the coroner, who's going to do our coffee session.
Wow.
In February, we're very excited. Congressman Fields is going to be there for our February meeting. Wow. And then in March, Ryan Holcomb, the director of the Planning Commission. So we are trying to have a very nice spread and different groups from all sorts of different wings of civic engagement to come through at this series, because we want it to be something that is interesting to at least a little bit. Everything that we do is not for everybody, but we want to have lots of interesting different topics that somebody might be attracted to.
There you go. Have something for everybody.
Yeah,
so
right.
Sit and listen and see. And so all of those that you have listed, and I'm glad that Ryan is coming, because you're talking about the planning department of the city, and folk have plenty questions about, well, what's the process for doing this, that, and the other. And Ryan is very knowledgeable. As a matter of fact, all of those folk that you mentioned are very knowledgeable. And Ryan is very knowledgeable of permits, everything, you name it here, that would be some questionable things here in the city. And so I'm grateful for your lineup. That's a great lineup there. And so I know that you are going to have some other folk there coming forward because you definitely want to get the information out there. And then as we were sitting and talking, all of us learned some things, and that's what it's all about. Never too old to learn.
Right.
And so we all learned some things there as we sat and interacted. Now, you're talking about the BRCC, what you do there, and see, the majority of us, we may do this, but we've got to do that, daytime work or whatever. And so here you are over at BRCC, a great, great place for our young and not so young people here in Baton Rouge. So what about over there? What do you do over there, and how do you connect that with your Forum 225?
Yeah, so I'm the Director of Venues and Events at BRCC, which is a new role for the college. So we manage all of the events that happen among all the different campuses. There are, you may be surprised to learn, there are hundreds of events happening throughout the course of the year at the college, and that's student groups, faculty and teachers, the administration doing their internal college business. Wow. I always like to give a fun example is that can be anybody from the Dungeons and Dragons Club meeting one day to the chancellor and his leadership team another. And so myself and one other in our department help to manage all those events and the planning and organizing at the school. And then we are also a venue for other groups, external groups, businesses, community organizations to come in and rent our spaces to host their own events. So we've had, large company meetings of leadership teams and, graduations, basketball tournaments, dance recitals, different things with students. We do a lot of work with the parish school system. They come in for training sessions. And so we have these beautiful campuses. We have great spaces and nice technology for everybody to come in and use for whatever they might have going on.
And so that means you juggle. You all heard him said he had a 2-year-old making a birthday today. So you're talking about family, work, and then Forum 225. So and I know that at times it's separate, but then at other times, you're looking at BRCC, what you do there, and in your mind thinking of Forum 225. So talk about how you do, what do you do as far as you're in that seat at BRCC, but in your head you're thinking about Forum 225 and how you can involve those young people over there with that entity.
Sure. The easiest way to think about it is that we are making connections, and that's what Forum 225, that's I think our primary purpose is to make connections. And so there's a lot of crossover between the folks who come through the college and are having events and hosting sessions and meetings and things, and we're running in a lot of the same lanes. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important for us to consider how can we put those two groups together, whether it's the local business leaders or the civic leaders or the elected officials. What we're trying to do for Forum is put them in front of those folks, just like yourself. How do we get you connected in a personal, comfortable way and paying attention to what's going on out in the community? And then from my perspective as someone who's trying to host more groups, it's great to make those connections for work anyway, because we want to show people the spaces that we have to offer. And really what we need to do is bring more people to the college to show them the great college that's there.
It.
I live nearby the college, and I hate to say I had never stepped foot on that campus before I went for this job interview, and I just didn't know it was there, and I didn't know how nice and big and beautiful it was. And I think that's probably the case for a lot of people around town. And so we love the idea of having more people come through our doors to see what we have to offer, because BRCC is not an alternative college anymore. It is a primary place to go for people to come through and get trained and get out there in the workforce and make some money and start their life. And so that's another tie-in for us. It's about quality of life, and that's what people young people are paying attention to. I think all the conversations locally among business leaders and economic developers and things like that. It's about talent retention and talent attraction. And that has everything to do with community, not physical community, but the community of people that you are intertwined with and do activities with and things like that. So you can see that there's a lot of crossover between those worlds, and it's all about people connecting with people. And I guess that's why it appealed to me, and that's why I'm doing the things that I do. And with my wife and a 2-year-old, we are here. Our roots are planted, and so I want to know where the community's going, and I want to have a voice, and I know that lots of other young people do too.
And you mentioned BRCC. At one point, it was one of the best kept secrets out there. And so now I believe that a lot of folk are sort of veering over there as opposed to our universities. They're starting there and may even end up at the universities. But I'm just grateful that it's here in Baton Rouge.
Absolutely.
What do you see? Where do you see 225 going? What's your ultimate? What are some things that you would love to see take place in 225 in the organization for this great city?
We are always striving towards growth of the group, more members and more active members to join us. I mean, that we exist as a membership-based organization, and so we want more people to be a part of what we do, but we want more people to be engaged with what we do. So it's not about having the numbers on paper, it's about having people in the room when we meet with, people around town. So we are trying to engage more, and I think we want to grow our voice, out in the community, in the media. We want to be part of the conversation going on around town. So again, if the conversation is about talent attraction and talent retention and where are the young people and why aren't they here? Well, some of them are here, and we want to be heard, and we want to share our opinions on the plans for this community because we're the ones who are going to be living in it, in the future. So I think it's about us being visible and being heard and being vocal. And the entity does not often, and we don't take positions on most things as an entity. But I like to offer to those that are listening out there that if you want to know what our people think, our demographic of young folks, which is very diverse, but is of an age range that which is 21 to 44, by the way.
Great number.
We want you to ask us to help contribute. We want to do surveys or share opinions on plans or topics of whatever might be going on.
And as you were talking there when you said 21 to 40, before that I was thinking, we have some high schoolers that's 18 and ready to get out in this great world. And I just, I'm always thinking of whatever we do we have an arm to it that will engage them, even if you go in one of their history or civic classes or whatever, even their English class, and talk to them about the importance of what 225 Forum 225 stand for, and even if they are 18 or 19, because we do have some 19-year-olds, but as they get close to 21, and these years are rolling by, so ask me. And so to let them know that Forum 225 is out there, and that this is something that you all can grow to go to and to get involved in and sit and listen and learn about, so that you can be ready when that age, that 21-year-old hits that. And so that is of utmost importance. I believe that the earlier we get them, the better it is there. And so even, I'm thinking of even my summer program. I have some middle schoolers and even some high schoolers that maybe you all can come and just talk to them about 225, the importance of being engaged, the importance of not just joining an organization to join it, but join it for the purpose of bettering yourself, being engaged, learning about it, and being a part of seeing how your community, because that's what it's all about. how you can be an asset.
Absolutely.
Be an asset. And then if you know about it, you can have good conversation about things and not so closed-minded either. And I say that about us, not so closed-minded, but open to hear, other ways of doing something, more than one way to skin a cat, and something that you may not have even thought of, and then it's always said out of the mouth of babes, And so this is and even you got Ryan there. I'm even thinking of that adjudicated property, that component, so that the people can really see. And you'll never know what 225 can do with buildings that may be blighted or adjudicated or whatever, but being a part of that solution and not just talking.
Well, and just being more aware means being more open. I think there's a saying about that somewhere. Just awareness brings openness.
Oh, there you go.
And
if it ain't somewhere, you just put it out there.
No, I won't take credit for that one.
Take it,
no.
Yes.
But so I think it's our group is diverse, and so you don't know who in the group you might meet who has already gone down the rabbit hole of a topic and is very interested and knowledgeable about it, who you can interact with, but who you can hear from, who may have a different opinion than your own. But the point is to be exposed to those different opinions. And from the idea of getting involved at an earlier age, we absolutely would love to collaborate with you or with anybody who wants to connect us with more young folks. When I joined a group just like Forum 225 in Lafayette many, many years ago, the 705, that was only because my boss said, you're joining this group and you're going to be on the board, and I had never gone to a meeting, and I loved it. And I wished I had the wherewithal to do it on my own before that moment, but it took a push to get me plugged in, and I absolutely am so thankful that that's the way it happened for me. So any chance that we have to catch somebody a little bit younger and put a spark there that they can maybe come and get plugged in. And I think it's good for us to not set a crazy expectation either. We do not expect people to come to everything that we host. We do things in the morning, we do them at lunch, we do them in the evening, we do them on the weekends, because we want you to be able to fit in somewhere, not necessarily everywhere.
There you go.
And so I think that's important.
Very, very, very much so. And so I have to go back to when we met. I mean, it was intriguing. It was amazing, the conversations that we had and how we gleaned from each other about different topics. And then the group was a group that had questions, and great questions, and then will cause you to kind of say, we need to get that person in here so that they talk on that topic, bring us some information in order that we can be knowledgeable of that. And then the other thing is, see, everybody is not called to everything. And so if you know your place and get in your place and then just stay in your place, then that's going to be what it's all about. And when these organizations do that and everybody operate in that vein and doing your thing, then we can all see a better result there. And so, but I truly enjoyed, as a matter of fact, that's why I mentioned about you coming here, because I truly enjoyed interacting with you all, learning with you all, and then leaving away from there with a aha moment. And so I just appreciate you. So tell the listening audience how to get in touch with you as the president. And then let me say this, so often other folks see in you what you don't see in you. And when they push you to the one in Lafayette, they knew that, that leadership here in 225 would be there for you. And so just know that, some folk are leaders and some folks are followers of their leaders. And it's okay. Just know your place. It's all right. Sure. And so, but let them know how they can get in touch with you and get involved in
Forum 225.
Forum 225.
You can find us at forum225.org. We're on social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. at forum225 on Instagram. So we're very accessible. You can Google us. We've got a phone number that you can reach. There you go, that can reach out to our board to connect. We have a board of a nice diverse group. They come from all walks of life, different backgrounds, different industries. And our leadership team, our vice presidents on the board, can be reached at that number. So if you have a project of a certain type and want to connect with us or collaborate, we welcome the people reaching out. You can connect with me at president@forum225.org to hit me up directly.
You all heard Adam. He said, hit him up directly, Baton Rouge. And so this has been a joyful, I should say, conversation here. And this podcast here is coming to you from Carolyn R. Coleman Media Center, and we're located right here at the Leo S. Butler Community Center. And yes, Baton Rouge, yes, District 10. Again, we ask that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you'd like. But we appreciate your listening ears here today. And for more information, Adam has already shared with you how to get in touch. So I thank you again, and I ask you all out there to remember, Coleman cares.
Count on Coleman. Count on Coleman. If your world is looking strange, you can count on Coleman for change.